Meyer Lansky. Louis Bloomfield was also a prime mover behind the Israeli lobby in Canada. So now here's the kicker for all this. When some of these quote-unquote liberal JFK assassination researchers go so far as to even mention Permindex, and maybe they'll mention Meyer Lansky, and maybe even mention Louis Bloomfield, the one thing they forget to mention is the Israeli connection. Now, if you can believe this, there's even one guy who gets into Permindex, and he says that Permindex was a Nazi front. Now, if Permindex, okay, now, let's just say he's right. No, I can't say he's right. If Permindex is a Nazi front, then what's Tiber Rosenbaum and Louis Bloomfield and the Bronfman family, who are very anti-Nazi from what I've heard lately, why are they associated with Permindex? Now, I still haven't really mentioned Israel because here's the icing on the cake. This guy, Tiber Rosenbaum, and this is all documented in the book. It's taken from mainstream sources. Tiber Rosenbaum was one of the highest-ranking, long-standing money launderers and arms procurement officers for, guess what, the Mossad. He is the Mossad. In fact, I don't even need to add another box there. I could add another box there. But one of Israel's newspapers, when Tiber Rosenbaum got in trouble a few years ago, they said Tiber Rosenbaum is Israel. So, without getting into the name, we'll just say, here's a Mossad right here. And Permindex is a Mossad money laundering operation. And Clay Shaw is connected to it, and Guy Bannister is connected to it, and David Ferry is connected to it. And guess who's connected with them? So, I don't think Lee Harvey Oswald was involved in I don't think he shot John F. Kennedy. But if he did shoot John F. Kennedy, a real detective would say, well, let's see, he's mixed up with Clay Shaw, well, then, and he was working for Clay Shaw, so, well, who's Clay Shaw mixed up with? Well, this is the thing. You're not allowed to mention any of this. My book mentions all that, and I'm sorry if that upsets people, but if they did it, they did it. And if I'm wrong, all I ask is that somebody come and prove me wrong. One way to have proved me wrong is for to have let me speak. And let me pass this out. You can take a look at it close up. Please pass it around. Let's start over here. That's the chart that I've been showing up here. I'll give you a better idea. If someone wants to prove me wrong, they should have let me come down there to that forum at Saddleback College and let me speak, because there was a guy there who claims that the Nazis, there was a guy who was supposed to speak who claims that the Nazis did it. Well, I would think that the ADL would want to prove the Nazis did it. So they should have let me talk and just, you know, show me where I'm wrong. That's all I've been asking. You know, if I'm wrong, I want to know where I'm wrong. I've had a couple errors that I found in the book myself. One other error was brought to me, and one of the errors was I said that somebody was held in a prison in Morocco when it was really in Algeria, or vice versa. Well, I corrected that. I said that somebody who knew Lee Oswald, and it turned out he didn't know Lee Oswald. I said that one guy had been shot dead when in fact he died in his bed. And there's something else. So that's the gist of what the errors have been in my book. As I say, I found most of them myself. And the one error that I did find was based on a book written by a former FBI agent. So it was his error, not mine. So the thing is, no one has been able to come forth and show precisely where I'm wrong. I mean, that's all I ask for. I mean, you know, I thought that I was going to write, I thought that I was going to write this book. I'd get a certain amount of publicity in the spotlight. Then I get this invitation to come and speak down in Orange County. Little did I know that I didn't create that problem for Orange County. I wasn't the one who called up the press. I wasn't the one who was able to generate press reports all over the country. It was the ADL. You know, and I do actually have them to thank for that, because I have my own little way of thanking the ADL for that. I hope there's somebody from the ADL here, because I want them to see that in a new edition of the book, put a lot of good pictures in, some very interesting pictures. And one of those is, for some reason I don't have it, is a picture of Marcia Milchiker. She's the member of the Board of Advisors, the Board of Trustees down there, who's played a major part in this. She is also on the local board of the Anti-Defamation League. For some reason, I don't have that page out. I must have had it out to gloat on it. I do see Oliver Stone's picture here. Now, I got to mention Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone went and made a very good movie. I thought great movie. I'm going to trip here in a moment. Made a great movie. He told a lot of things about the JFK conspiracy. There's one thing you got to keep in mind, though, about Oliver Stone. To get that movie made, he had to have some money. Now, when you're going to make them, that's why you have things that are called producers. Now, everybody thinks that Oliver Stone was the producer of the film JFK. Actually, he was, I don't even know what he did. I think he wrote the script. He may have directed it. I'm not even sure he was even the director. Anyway, you're all Hollywood and California people out here, so you guys know what producers are. Here's the name of the man who put up the money for Oliver Stone's film. And he puts up the money for a lot of good movies. I just saw a couple of his movies the other day on video. Now, that's not Michael Milken. That's Arnon Milken. Now, has anyone ever here, other than those who've read the book, does anyone here know who Arnon Milken is? I heard somebody say he was a Jew. Yeah, I believe he is. And the reason why I believe he probably is because according to Alexander Coburn, writing in The Nation magazine, and as you know, The Nation is not a right-wing extremist publication, Arnon Milken, the man who financed JFK, is, quote, unquote, I love writing this stuff down, Israel's biggest arms dealer. That's a fact, my friends. This is the man who financed the final judgment, so to speak, by the major media on the JFK assassination. Israel's biggest arms dealer. And get a load of this. Guess what one of Arnon Milken's side dabblings is? Now, of course, he's a movie producer and Israel's biggest arms dealer, and he was also intimately involved in Israel's nuclear arms development. And as I think I mentioned to you earlier, it was Israel's nuclear arms development that was kind of the sticking point between John F. Kennedy and Israel. So I think you understand why Oliver Stone, with Arnon Milken's money, coming from Israel's arms dealing, and also connected to Israel's nuclear development, would probably not want to get in to the Israeli connection. I think. I mean, maybe I am a conspiracy theorist. I don't know. But like I say, these are just little facts. These are little facts, and I want people to look at them. I want people to see a pattern. It seems like everywhere I turned around when I was researching the Kennedy assassination, I kept finding these Israeli connections. I'll tell you the one that really entertains me, because it's the one that I found literally the day before the book was supposed to go to print. Now, I would not put the burden of writing a book and seeing it through to publication upon any nice person, because it's a lot of work. And when Russ knows, I know that. When you have a manuscript in your hands, you know, and you've got it all typeset and everything, you know, and you're ready to roll with it, you know, you want it to be done. Well, the day before Final Judgment was to go to press, I saw something and I said, oh my God, I got to put this in the book. I have to put it in the book. Maybe you won't find this as significant as I do, but to me at the time it was very significant, and it still is. When Jim Garrison, and I found this detail right before the book was supposed to go to press. There's one thing, bear with me. When Jim Garrison started investigating the JFK assassination, he knew nothing about Clay Shaw. you saw that, if those of you who saw the movie know that it was a process, a long process for him before